Hello everyone, my name is Alex Christian Dave Desilio from Biles 1B. My topic for today is that relative studies and the contrastive analysis hypothesis. In this case, the three studies that I'll be representing to you are connected to CAH. If you're wondering why only three, this is because of the fact that there are several options and studies available on the internet on about CAH, and I only choose these three because their titles are interesting. These are the three related studies on CAH. So the first study is Linguistics Across Culture by Robert Lado on 1957. The second is Ronald Wardow with his book entitled The Contrastive Analysis Hypothesis on 1970. Last book entitled Principle of Language Learner and Teaching, 3rd edition by Brown H. Douglas in 1994. Before we proceed to these studies, let me define what is contrastive analysis hypothesis first. If you're having a hard time understanding what is CAH in Udani's report, then let's talk about this. Why it is called a hypothesis? So it is considered as hypothesis in fact that it is just an assumption. We can only predict the difficulties, which means nothing is guaranteed 100%, so we can only predict and hypothesize. Let's proceed to contrastive analysis. So what is contrastive analysis? In fact, from the word itself, contrast, or it is the comparison. So it is comparing the contrasting the mother tongue with the target language. Say for instance, our mother tongue is Filipino. So we compare Filipino to Hangul, which is the mother tongue of Koreans. So as we observe, we can see similarities and differences. So now, let's talk about the first author. In Robert Lado's book entitled Linguistics Across the Culture, he stated that we can predict and describe the patterns that will cause difficulty in learning and those that will not cause difficulty in learning by comparing systematically the language and culture to be learned with the native culture of the student. According to the Lado's seminal work, which served as the theoretical foundation for CAH, this means that through systematic comparison of a language and culture of the target language and the language culture of its native language, then we can predict and explain the patterns that causes the difficulty of learning in the second language and those that will not cause. Furthermore, the structuralist approach which Lado endorses believes that the solution to language learning resides in the comparing the native and foreign languages to determine how difficult or easy it is to acquire the new language. Written with foreign language teachers in mind, this book established the standard for accumulating contrastive and comparative data and its application, which would have a lasting impact on language instruction for decades to come. Lado and his company have played a significant role in the widespread acceptance of the audiolingual method. So moving on, in Ronald Wardow's book entitled The Contrastive Analysis Hypothesis, it investigates the challenges that linguists have when attempting to use either the strong as a method theory or at the weak, including the language interference forms for contrastive analysis. From the time of this 1970 essay, he forecasts that CAH will have less effect on second language teaching and curriculum, and he points out that it is only one several elements that are being re-evaluated in second language education. Furthermore, the claim that the best language teaching materials are based on a contrast of the two competing linguistic system has long been a popular one in language teaching. It exists in strong and weak versions, the strong one arising from evidence from the availability of some kind of meta-theory of contrastive analysis, and the weak from evidence from language interference. In Principle of the Language Learning and Teaching, 3rd edition by Brown H. Douglas, 1994, in his book, Brown begins Chapter 8, Contrastive Analysis Interlanguage and Error Analysis by explaining the tenets of the contrastive analysis hypothesis, which drew on behaviorist principles that language learning could be compared to human behavior as an aggregation of smaller components and structuralist thinking of the time. Brown summarizes CAH's central claim that the most challenging aspect of second language acquisition is a learner's first language system interfering with the system of the language being learned. He emphasizes the attraction of CAH in that errors related to negative transfer are clear when pointed out and can be foreseen and characterized, making CAH the foundation for the production of language learning materials for many years. The description, selection, and comparison of linguistic aspects used to formulate expected mistakes and problems to be faced resulted in a logical approach, which was developed by rising orders of difficulty. CAH applications eventually reveal flaws ranging from oversimplification to a lack of overriding criteria of comparison. He goes on to criticize subsequent theorists' subjectivity of original CAH observation and present research that finds no support for the predictions of the contrastive analysis so painstakingly worked out by linguists, thus moderating or contradicting the hypothesis and leading to a greater reliance on more moderate forms of the CAH. He points out that contrastive analysis hypothesis is still an important instrument in the pursuit of successful second language acquisition and instruction. I hope that everyone gained something from this discussion and have a wonderful day.